legislative session. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Michael Yurden.
Present.
Herbert Yurden.
Present.
Edward Gilson.
Here.
David Holst has been marked excused. Roy Rehel.
Here.
John Martino.
Here.
Frank Bombardo.
Here.
Paul House.
Here.
James Weatherup.
Here.
Mary Ellen Chesbrough.
Here.
Linda Lockwood. Here. Richard Klein.
Present.
Patrick Twist.
Here.
Stephen Walpole.
Here.
Nathan Evans.
Here.
James Scanlon.
Here.
Lori Mangano. Here. Robert Wilmot.
Here.
Marie Schad.
Here.
Tim Stahl's been marked excused. Noel Samuelson.
Here.
James Karasik.
Here.
Michael Soloway.
Here.
Mark Greco.
Here.
Frank Castilian.
Wouldn't miss it.
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 present and two excused. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Will lead us in the invitation.
As we come together this day, let us be thankful for its blessings, its opportunities, and its challenges. Help us to be ever mindful of opportunities to render our service to fellow citizens and to our community, keeping in mind always the enduring values of life, exerting our efforts in those areas and on those things upon which future generations can build with confidence. Grant us clarity of purpose and protect us from all distractions. Amen.
And now the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Look for the appropriate motions for the minutes of the Oswego County Legislature's regular meeting on June 9th.
So moved.
Moved. Seconds? Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Moving now to some recognitions. Could Billy Phantom, Sheriff Hilton, and the Public Safety Committee please come forward?
How you doing? We asked Bill to come here today to present him actually with two plaques. One is his retirement plaque, and the second was his after 30 years of service to the county. And what I believe to be the toughest job in law enforcement as a corrections officer. So we just want to recognize him publicly for that, and I want to thank you for your service on behalf of this committee, legislature, and the administration, and most of all the citizens of the county for your service. So, again, thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Could we have Legislator Karasik and the Health Department come forward, and the Health Committee?
We got a little more light here. He's got more. He still has. He can come to all of it.
Foiled.
Yeah.
proclamation. Unfortunately, today, the three groups that were going to be here to accept this all had transportation issues, so I'll be presenting and then accepting it and making a few comments. This is Isabel, and obviously I am a person with disabilities, so I am very pleased to be able to do this today, and we'll comment in a minute. Let me read the proclamation. American with Disabilities Awareness Day, July 26, 2022. Whereas the American with Disabilities Act, ADA, is a truly landmark piece of legislation that guarantees access to employment, public accommodations, services, and telecommunications to persons with disabilities. And whereas ARISE works with constituents, other advocacy and community groups to bring forth the promise of hope and freedom that is envisioned by the passage of the ADA. And whereas on July 26th, we celebrate the 32nd anniversary of the ADA and recognize the enormous contributions of ARISE for ensuring that the rights of individuals with disabilities are acknowledged and protected. Whereas the County of Oswego is proud to join with ARISE, which works to ensure the rights of individuals with disabilities are protected through advocacy, education, information, and independent living skills training, and by reaffirming the dignity, independence, and self-worth of all individuals with disabilities. I therefore, James Weatherup, Chairman of the Oswego County Legislature, on behalf of the entire legislature, do hereby designate July 26, 2022 as American with Disabilities Awareness Day, and urge all Oswego County citizens to affirm the principles of equality and inclusion for persons with disabilities as set forth in the American with Disabilities Act. I'm going to do your pick first, and then I'll...
Everybody ready? On the count of three. 1, 2, 3. And a second. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
So, obviously as a person with disabilities, I was born with disabilities and struggled a great deal through school. It was rough for me. It had to involve my parents being advocates. Gym class was a failure, and they had to constantly get involved. I went through 7 surgeries on my legs and feet. I spent a lot of time in a wheelchair, and eventually, as the world began to change a little bit, I had great support that allowed me to continue my education, fulfill my needs, become independent, and live a lifestyle that works for me. My wife and I have been married 40 years in this October. I turned 70 in 2 more months, and I have no regrets of the path that I followed, and that is in part because of people that recognize those with disabilities as having the capability to contribute to the betterment of society. Oswego County has done a great job with this. It'd be nice to say that when I joined the legislative body, they changed their mind and became very attuned. That's not true. They always were working in a direction about equality in this county. We've seen the city of Oswego make great efforts in that. Many curb cuts, charging stations for people with power chairs, a lot of capability in recreation so that people can participate. The city of Fulton has started that process a couple, 3 years ago. The current mayor and council have engaged asking people with disabilities, if we do this project, what do we need to do to make it right for people to be able to be part of what we are experiencing as growth in the county. So I really appreciate the fact that once a year, if only for this moment, we get a chance as people with disabilities to share with you guys and the press the amazing job that this county has done, continues to do, and continues to grow forward on recognizing the value of people with disabilities. If people have surgery and they get a leg fixed and they're on crutches for 2 weeks, they experience that, but some tend to forget what that 2 weeks was like. imagine that being the rest of your life. Some of you that have been around for a while will remember I spent several months in this chamber in a wheelchair and had to work very hard to get out of it. Thus, I have a dog. And now she's being trained as an off-leash dog because of another procedure I have to have. I cannot be having a dog on the end of the leash. It's minor. It's my next step towards becoming even more capable of doing things. And again, I've got a lot of support. You people are to thank for that. You people are the ones that make changes in the community. You people are the ones that recognize what needs to be done and speak up for the people that can't do that. And I can tell you, people with disabilities, we really appreciate that. Thank you. Isabel spent the afternoon at Camp Hollis with the kids, so she's gone. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. With the minority leader, do you have any visitors you'd like to introduce?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, fellow legislators, it's my pleasure and honor to introduce the President of Fulton Common Council, Audrey Avery, with us today.
Thank you. Is there any others? Thank you. Legislator Emmons, any public speakers on resolutions of the day? Thank you. All right, thank you. Would Audrey Avery come forward? We have 5 minutes.
Oh, I'll be brief.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Oswego County legislators. I just have a brief statement that I would like to read.
Is it regarding resolutions, a resolution?
Yes, sir. For the Leachate.
Thank you.
On behalf of Mayor Michaels, the Common Council of the City of Fulton, we would like to extend our gratitude for your support for the shared services. Recently, Legislator Karasik worked with Mayor Michaels to find solutions at the wastewater management plant that will have positive, lasting impact for years to come. And we would like to thank all of you for working with the City of Fulton as partners and problem solvers. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, I would call Mary Lowell forward. Thank you. You have 5 minutes on resolutions of the day.
Well, I have to confess I'm a little bit out of order here. I've been trying since late January to find out when public input can be had for the ARPA process. And I learned about 2 weeks ago from my representative in this body that the only time would be when you were ready to vote on such a resolution, which tells me that's too late for any public to have any meaningful input. So I've been in touch with my representative, and what I did do 2 weeks ago, well actually on the 14th of this month, I wrote a letter to your chairman asking a few questions, and this was one of them in particular, which is just when do you and the county government expect any member of the taxpaying public to be able to have genuine input about any ARPA proposal or project? I'm still waiting for that response, and I didn't know how else to get it, so I came here, and I'm delivering it in person. There's a few, I know you are busy, but I'm very busy too, and the last question I have on here has to do with when you tell people, the public, that they can speak. I came for the first time in many years probably, and spoke last time. and learned then that I was not allowed to speak, though I had a very thoughtfully prepared statement on gun violence. And I was allowed to, I came at 7 and I was allowed to speak at 10 after half of you were gone. That is not acceptable, not if you want us to think for 1 minute that you care what the public has to say. So that's all I'm going to say. Thank you. And I'm delivering this in
Just a quick side note on that, for all that's interested in that particular subject, these rules of our legislature and how we conduct our business has been in effect since 2013 at the minimum, and we think that particular order of the public speakers of the day as speakers on resolutions, the public comments have been that way since at least 2013. Thank you for your bringing that to our attention. Moving now to government, courts, and consumers affairs, Legislator Gilson, GC1.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer this resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution setting standard workdays and reporting for elected and appointed officials.
This resolution needs to be amended. The terms date will change from January 1st, 2022 through and including December 31st, 2022. This is a declaration of the standard workdays by elected and appointed officials and their contribution to the retirement system.
Thank you. So we need an amendment, you're saying?
Yes.
Second.
Amendment made or moved and seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right,
Mr.
back to the,
President, This 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
thank you. So the original resolution then, as amended. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Moving to resolution GC2 by Legislator Gilson.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution approving and confirming the sale and transfer of certain foreclosed tax property pursuant to RPTL 1166.
Yeah, this resolution covers 23 buyback properties that were foreclosed upon that had legal issues such as bankruptcies or other issues that we were able to sell back for full tax value and any penalties and fees as well.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Moving to resolution GC3 by Legislator Gilson.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing 2022 tax property auction.
This resolution seeks approval to hold our annual tax auction. There are 111 properties that we will put up for auction, online auction, and we're expecting to hold that August 18th of this year.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Moving now to resolution GC4 by Legislator Gilson.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution awarding professional services contract, RFP 22-CC-002, text and image management.
This is a proposal that we put out for vendors, solicited vendors, to cover the cost of copying and imaging our documentation. Unfortunately, there was only one vendor that responded to us. However, they did score very well, very high with the review committee, and they've performed this practice for us in the past. I would urge the acceptance of this contract for sure.
Thank you. Any discussion? Legislator Castillo.
Yes, 2 points, Mr. Chairman. What is the length of the contract? Is this a 1-year contract, a 5-year contract, or so somebody else says yes, they want to do it? Doesn't say in there. I looked it over. I don't see it in there.
We have some input from the county clerk, Wilbur, in the back.
It's going to be for 5 years.
5 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Second issue is that I've been, opposed to this all along. I feel that this really is work that we've got to be doing in-house, and therefore I will not be voting in favor of this. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 2 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Resolution GC5 by Legislator Gilson.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing the transfer of tax foreclosed properties to the Oswego County Land Bank Corporation.
Every year, we work closely with the land bank, and they examine certain foreclosed properties for improvement and to build back community areas, neighborhoods better. We have, along with the land bank, selected 8 properties as listed in this resolution for sale to the land.
Thank you. Any discussion? Legislator Shaw.
Mr. Chairman, if a sign is placed on a property, and then it's pulled by the land bank, is there a cost to us for having listed it and then pulling it?
I don't believe there is. I'll find out and make sure.
Thank you.
Thanks. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. GC6 by Legislator Gilson.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing position reclassification, county clerk, motor vehicle.
This resolution allows for the reclassification of a senior motor vehicle clerk. Now that we have 3 offices opened again, this would put a senior clerk in each of the offices, allowing them to be autonomous, supervision, and direction.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Moving to Resolution GC7 by Legislator Gilson.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I also offer this resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budgetary modification, county attorney's office, liability, and other insurance.
While we carefully budget every year, it's difficult to accurately budget the cost of insurance. We pay this biannually, and we do need to make a transfer from the general fund in the amount of $100,000 to pay the second part of this year's premium for all liabilities and other insurances.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Moving now to Public Safety Committee, short little kind of a current event thing at 3:30 this afternoon. Our Community Safety Initiative meeting chaired by Chairman Mark Greco will be meeting here in these chambers. They're going to bring law enforcement, firefighters, emergency personnel, and other stakeholders together to develop training and response plans aimed at creating safer schools, workplaces, and public gatherings. As part of its previous work, the CSI Committee and Sheriff Don Hilton expanded and improved school resource officer programs within our county schools and provided comprehensive training to prepare for violent threats. Now, Legislator Greco, Resolution PS1.
Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution recommend its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budgetary modification, sheriff's office, transfer from insurance recovery, treasurer's office, to automotive equipment, road division, Ford Explorer.
It's just the insurance recovery and putting money back into it.
Yes. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Resolution PS2 by Legislator Greco.
Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution and recommend its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budgetary modification, Sheriff's Office, transfer from Insurance Recovery, Treasurer's Office, to Automotive Equipment Road Division, Nissan.
Exactly the same as before. Accident insurance recovery, put it back into the fleet.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Resolution PS3 by Legislator Greco.
Offer this resolution and recommend its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budgetary modification, Sheriff's Office, transfer from Insurance Recovery, Treasurer's Office, to Other Equipment, Emergency Management, Drone.
Similar to the others, this is just an insurance check going back into the drone program.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Resolution PS4 by Legislator Greco.
Again, I offer this resolution and recommend its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budgetary modification, Sheriff's Office, transfer from Insurance Recovery, Treasurer's Office, to Automotive Equipment, Road Division, Ford Utility Police Interceptor.
Same as the prior. Insurance check coming in, putting it back into the fleet.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Resolution PS5 by Legislator Greco.
Chairman, I offer this resolution and recommend its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing an intermunicipal agreement by and between the County of Oswego and the County of Onondaga for Web Echo Incident Management System.
Yeah, this is an emergency website. Should there be a disaster or some sort of emergency that we can utilize. There's a grant for it, and we should approve this. It's important.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Resolution PS6 by Legislator Greco.
Now, with this resolution, I recommend its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budgetary modification, E911 overtime.
It's just moving funds to pay for the overtime that they're short-handed and extended the overtime. It's easy.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Resolution PS7 by Legislator Greco.
Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution and recommend its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing the amendment of the management compensation plan to provide stipend for additional duties performed by members of the district attorney's office.
This is at the request of the district attorney to pay his people a little bit more money for working nights and holidays and weekends. I think it's a good plan, and it's paid for within its own budget.
All right, so this is budget neutral.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
No cost.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Resolution PS8 by Legislator Greco.
Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution and recommend its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing the reclassification of one position in the district attorney's office.
This is a typist being upgraded to grade 5, senior typist, additional responsibilities, and also cost neutral to this.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Okay, moving to Human Services, just as a note to the audience, our investigation and study of the Department of Social Services process and actions is ongoing. We'll share the results of those inquiries with the public as soon as the findings are available. But in the meantime, we are already considering measures to bolster the county's Child Protective Unit, including a resolution tonight to discuss adding 4 supervisory positions to improve oversight and support for caseworkers. Resolution HS1 by Legislator Rehill.
Mr. Chairman, I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing creation of one position in the Department of Social Services, Social Welfare Examiner.
This has to do with changes in the Child Care Assistance Program in New York State. It's 100% funded through the department's child care allocation from the state.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Resolution HS2 by Legislator Rehill.
Mr. Chairman, I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing reclassification of one position in the Department of Social Services, Community Services Worker to Social Welfare Examiner.
This has to do with HEAP and allowing this particular social worker to handle more of the work without having to hand it off to another worker. The position is 100% federally funded.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Resolution HS3 by Legislator Rehill.
Mr. Chairman, I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution appointing member to the Oswego County Child Protection Advisory Council.
This is to reappoint Melissa Parker. She had served on the committee before.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Resolution HS4 by Legislator Rehill.
Mr. Chairman, I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing the creation of 4 positions within DSS Services Unit.
As the chairman noted at the beginning of the Human Services resolutions, this is part of our ongoing 2-year process to make changes that are going to produce the best possible results in the departments.
Just so you guys, or so everyone knows, this is actually pending approval by our labor attorney, but having said that, any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Moving now to EDP, I would like to add a quick update on the county's American Rescue Plan funding process. Ongoing as applications continue to come in and be evaluated. This is just the beginning of what is likely to be a lengthy process, and the legislature plans to vote on another round of funding requests in the coming months. Economic Development Planning Committee, EP1 by Legislator Chesler.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer this resolution and I urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution confirming the environmental review and approval of the addition of new trail sections in the county's snowmobile trail system.
Yes, there's a request for another additional 1 mile to be added to the trail. And it's mandated by the state of New York whenever there is an addition that it has to undergo environmental review. However, if it's so small, there's such a little negligible environmental impact, seeker does not have to be done.
Thank you. Any discussion?
I would note that under Parks Rec and Historic Preservation Law, the opening of the road segment requires a local law, and this is only on the environmental review. And there's an issue I would note that I've shared with Parks and Rec regarding the local law, because once consent is given by the county to open a road, it cannot be withdrawn readily because it falls to the town to adopt a local law. So we can discuss that further, but this is only determining that there's no environmental impact.
Yes, that is correct.
Correct. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Resolution EP2 by Legislator Chesbro.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer this resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution amending capital project number 80, Oswego County Government Website Project.
This capital project was established in 2018 for our overall website, and we have some money left over, and it's been 12 years since we updated the Visit Oswego County website, and as we all know how fast IT moves, it needs to be updated since recreation is so very important to us, and therefore what we're asking here in this resolution is that another $75,000 be added to capital project 80 so that we'll have enough money to update Visit Oswego County.
Thank you.
And also, we're changing over the .com to the .gov, which has been requested by the state.
I don't think the state requested.
Try to be nice.
I understand. In case they're listening.
Yes.
Thank you. Any discussion? Legislator Shaw.
Will this include continuous monitoring?
Excuse me?
Will this include continuous monitoring by the, whoever we're hiring for the website project?
I don't think it'll monitor in perpetuity. I guess it all-
During the contract, or just, if this is just a bill?
All right. Legislator Emmons may have.
Mr. Chairman, I would just remark that this is just moving money. It will be an upcoming process to actually select a vendor in contract. So I think that would be a great question as we go through that particular process. This is just establishing the capital account to be able to move forward with procurement.
Second part, how much funding currently remains?
$24,000.
Thank you.
Legislator Mangano, you have a hand up?
I did, I just noticed here, it says fiscal, under fiscal impact, it reads a 4-year period. Post and maintain the site for a 4-year period.
They won't make it. Okay, so that'll be in the bid process.
Yeah.
Good.
Good. Any other discussions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Related, we don't have any resolutions on health today, but I would offer this up that to address the smoldering grain silo fire at the vacant biofuel plant at the former Miller Brewing site in the town of Fulton. State authorities are monitoring the air quality near the plant, and though the smoke and resulting smell is a nuisance, it has been determined that the fire does not currently cause a threat to public health or safety. We will continue to closely monitor the situation in partnership with the state and act if necessary. Moving now to infrastructure, facilities, and technology. Resolution IT. Oh, legislator to see it.
What happened to EP3? Did I miss that?
We didn't have a meeting, so should have mentioned that.
Okay. Trying to stay on top of
Okay.
this. Sorry.
No problem. Resolution IT1 by Legislator Walpole.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The following resolution urges adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing an intermunicipal agreement between the City of Fulton and the County of Oswego for leachate treatment and sludge disposal.
As we all know, we just renewed our contract with the City of Oswego after 5 years. It worked out great. A perfect example of two municipalities working together. And it was brought to my attention that we had a bond for leachate. Actually, under the health budget, and as Legislator Castillo often reminds me, he says, Steve, you know, we got 2 cities here. And as you guys know, under the, when we spoke of the last one, bottom line is we had 2 fleets to dispose of leachate, and now we'll be able to enter a similar agreement with the City of Fulton. And once again, it will benefit the City of Fulton as well as the county of Oswego.
Thank you. I would note that the council president was here and spoke in favor of this. I received a letter today from the mayor. Dear Chairman Weatherup, on behalf of the City of Fulton, the Common Council, and the city employees, we extend our appreciation to the legislature for working with the City of Fulton to find solutions to our wastewater management plan. A special thank you to Legislator Karasik for working with my office on behalf of the residents of Fulton to find opportunities through our shared services agreement. We look forward to continuing to build our municipal partnership through our shared services agreement to find ways to improve the quality of life in and around the City of Fulton. Thank you again for your support. Respectfully, Submitted Mayor Dina Michaels. Any other discussion? Legislator Castillo.
I'd just like to say thank you very much for bringing this forward.
That's it?
Do you want me to thank Legislator Jurassic also?
They can do that after, thank you. He's got the dog. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Resolution IT2 by Legislator Walpole.
Mr. Chairman, off the following resolution, it's adopted.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution appointing Director of Solid Waste Programs.
Okay, we'd like to bring forward the name of Carl Smith. Carl's a longtime employee, and Carl, I actually forgot to mention in the previous resolution, who made that all possible. Carl's the one that did all the legwork, put things together when we brought his attention. And Carl stepped up as the interim director. He's been doing a great job. There's got a lot of things going on up there to move things forward. And it's my pleasure to bring forward Carl.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Legislator Grassley.
Just want to mention that if Mr. Mitchell needs any help, he's also an attorney.
They need it.
Good catch. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Carl, you want to stand up and raise your hand? Now he's an attorney, that probably costs us. Resolution IT3 by Legislator Walpole.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I offer the following resolution and recommend its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution appointing a superintendent of highways in and for the county of Oswego pursuant to New York State Highway Law 100 and County Law 404A.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, upon the retirement of our previous highway superintendent, as we all know, Chris Fulton stepped up into the spot for a brief period, and we placed Sean Walker in as OS2. And he stepped up and helped us keep things running, keep things moving. He's done a great job so far, and everything's been going very good. And I'd like to bring forward the name of Sean Walker.
Thank you. Any discussion? Legislator Castillo.
Mr. Chairman, I'm just wondering, how is it possible for us to make this position an elected position? What process do we have to go through? Because I know that towns have highway superintendents, and they're voted on. I'm not voting against the person that we're bringing forward, and I'm not voting against a highway superintendent. What I'm going to be voting against is the process. I would rather see it be an elected position than an appointed position. And what do we have to do to make that happen, sir? Do you have any idea? Does anybody have
I'm
any
not
idea?
currently aware of any elected county highway superintendents in New York State, but we could have Rich or maybe Carl's another attorney, he could look into it.
We're actually getting ready to vote on it. They come elected.
No, that's just if you know.
I'm not, is anyone aware of any elected highway county superintendents? I don't believe there is any. County
Okay, well,
law.
I just wondered how we could change it, that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion?
The appointment is under both the state highway law and county law as an appointed superintendent. Whether we can preempt state law on that would require me to take a look at it. To the chairman's point, I'm not aware of any elected county superintendents. There are certain provisions in the law that give this legislature authority over the superintendent, which would give up if there were an elected position possibly. So I can look at it, but right now, this is in accordance with state highway law and state county law.
So we could be first in something then.
Well, we
You
can,
know,
I'm not saying it's possible, I'm saying I have to look at it.
Frank, we leave some categories. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 22 in favor, 1 opposed, and 2 excused.
Mr. Walker, would you rise? We don't pay extra for attorneys either. just so you know. Moving on, resolution IT4 by legislator Walpole.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to amend this resolution. I would like to amend it to where it says moving money from the highway budget as opposed to the general fund.
All right, so it's the same dollar figure, just a different account.
That's correct.
So make a motion to amend, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on the amendment?
They didn't announce the resolution.
Oh, good catch. Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budget modification highway, gas and oil.
Okay, so back to the amendment to that for account
I'll
number.
make the amendment.
So we make the amendment, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the amendment? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused for the amendment.
All right, thank you. Back to the original resolution as amended. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Moving to resolution IT5 by legislator Walpole.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I offer the following resolution and recommend its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budget modification airport.
As with the highway department, this is for gas and oil, this is in the amount of $75,000.
Thank you. Any discussion? Legislator Schott.
Can you explain to me, is this for operating expenses or for purchasing fuel for resale? Well,
This is fuel for their equipment, I believe.
it includes resale?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so if it's for resale and you're raising the prices accordingly, it should wash. So can you explain that to me?
The profit goes into the general fund, not back into the fuel account.
That's pretty bad bookkeeping. Why don't we just have an airport fund? Why are we commingling that with general highway?
That's a discussion for Phil, Rich, and
It's
Carl.
gone on forever, and we always lose. We always lose. Bad bookkeeping at its finest.
Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 2 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Resolution IT6 by legislator Walpole.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I offer the following resolution and its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution awarding professional services contract RFP 22-BG-004, Construction Management Services, CMA, Butter Street Complex.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is awarding it to Aubertine and Courier in the amount of $24,874.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Chase, not RT and Courier.
Is it Courier or Leachate?
You're on IT6. System Chase.
Get it right.
Have it here as Aubertine.
IT6 says the Chase. I think you're referring to the next resolution.
Yeah.
We changed it, it's entered in the right resolution.
Six. Oh, you're right, that was one resolution.
Yeah.
Understand, I stand corrected, that would be awarding that to Chase Construction Services in the amount of $211,000.
Okay, so just so we're clear, we're on resolution IT6, right?
Yes.
Seven Aubertine.
We're all good. Just a little misreading here. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Moving to IT7 by legislator Walpole. Legislator Walpole.
Offer the following resolution and recommend its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution awarding professional services contract, RFP 22-BG-005, B&G roof replacement.
Now, this one, I don't. This one here is offered from Courier.
Yes. Okay. Very good, thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Moving to Resolution IT-8 by Legislator Walpole.
Following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing the grant of permanent easements to the town of Bali in connection with the Bali Sewer District.
That is as written. Providing the easements for the sewer project and the airport on L-176.
Very good, thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Moving to Resolution IT-9 by Legislator Walpole.
For the following resolution, urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing creation of 1 temporary position in the Highway Department.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is creating a temporary position as the position is currently in litigation. The person is going to enable our highway superintendent to put someone within the department in that position. So,
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Resolution IT-10 by Legislator Walpole.
for the following resolution, urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution accepting an FAA grant and establishing capital project number 0522 to replace and relocate the rotating beacon at the Oswego County Airport.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, IT 10, 11, and 12 are all kind of tied in together as project, capital project 022 as it came in, actually lower. We had already allocated the local share for it. And when it came in lower, obviously, our share wouldn't have been as high. These other two grants had been filed for. They came in, therefore, the local share will be covered by the remainder of the money in that. So it's no cost. We're doing it, okay.
Yeah. Did the local share change, Steve?
No, there's no local share because the original one that we had set up for a month ago, that the money came in lower, therefore our local share would have been less. The money that was left of that will cover for these two grants.
So there's no additional local
There's
share
no
for 10,
additional
11, or 12.
Correct.
Can
Can I ask a question yet? Or do we need- Okay, so I just want to get the math straight. On 10, it stated local share of 4,200. On 11, it stated local share 11,500. On 12, it stated local share 90,517.50. For a total of around 106,000 local share for 10, 11, and 12.
IT 12 is replacing the capital project to allow 10 and 11.
What is the local share for these three total?
We have the airport manager here.
So we appropriated for IT-12, with the grant application, we applied for $3.8 million. We appropriated our 5% based on that $3.8 million application. The FAA only awarded us $1.8 million to a portion of it, which lowers our local share. We already appropriated $170,000 to that 0222. We only need $90,517 in that 0222, which leaves an excess in there that we can pull IT 10 and 11's local share from. So no additional county funds are necessary for this. Actually, when all of this is done, we'll have an excess of $64,368 that we already appropriated to 0222.
Okay, but those were previous appropriations.
Yes.
Right here and now is what I'm talking about.
Right.
So right here and now of taxpayer money, we are going to spend
total is going to be the 15,000 plus the 90,000, 140,000, 145,000.
Local share.
Correct.
Will, the new $1 million hangar ever make us some money to offset these costs? Are we starting to see money come in?
We're actually working on 5 new tenants for that right now.
Working on what?
5 new tenants for that right now.
Any other discussion on Resolution IT-10?
Thank you.
Legislator Reed.
Mr. Chairman, I just, none of the budget modifications are signed properly for any of this section. I'm wondering if that is something that can be remedied now, or if that is a problem.
We'll have Rich take a quick look here.
The resolution moves the money, the signatures can be obtained after. I know the treasurer's not around, so.
Just while the
We can
committee
have
didn't
clerk,
sign it.
we can have clerk obtain signatures and note that there's a resolution.
Sorry, I just thought it was unusual. I want to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Legislator Castillo.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. As duly noted, it's local share of $145,000. Now, I won't be voting in favor of either one of these three. And it's not because I don't want an airport. It's because I don't want it to be under the cost of local share or taxpayer money, because even though there's state money being used, we still pay state taxes. So therefore, I will not be in favor of these, not because I don't want an airport, not that we don't need an airport, but because it should be under private ownership, not the county, and not everybody paying the due course. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Legislator Craig.
I just want to make sure it's absolutely clear. This is money we've already set aside
Yes.
for this project. So it's not like we're approving to add to this. It's actually going to be less than what we've already set aside.
It leaves to Brandon's point some $65,000 left after all these projects are completed.
Okay,
There were additional grants that came.
Yes.
okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 2 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Resolution IT-11 by Legislator Walpole.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to move IT-11.
Oh, hold on.
I think we already.
Thank you. We have a second by Legislator Twist. All those in favor of moving this block?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Will the clerk please read both headings?
Resolution accepting an FAA grant and establishing capital project number 0622 to rehabilitate taxiways E and D at the Oswego County Airport. Resolution increasing capital project number 0222 to rehabilitate runway 6-24 construction phase at the Oswego County Airport.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 2 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you. Moving now to Finance and Personnel, Legislator Martino with Resolution FP1.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have this resolution and its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budget modification, Oswego County Clerk's Office to transfer funds into county clerk's additional hours.
Basically, as it says, additional hours due to the change in the pistol permit procedure. County clerk's looking for some additional hours to try to keep the pistol permits moving according. This is an in-house move within his own budget and no change to our budget. I mean, overall budget.
Yes, thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 23 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 excused.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. You're welcome. Moving now to unfinished business. Thank you. Any miscellaneous business? Okay, looking for the appropriate motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. We're now adjourned. We're going now to our public comment period. Legislator Emmett. Okay, thank you. This is our public comment period. These are for comments unrelated to the resolutions. Would Shauna Reddick please come forward? In the interest of fairness, we have a 5-minute timer on the dais. Thank you.
Last meeting was concerning, not just because some left, but hearing others emailed members of the legislature and got one response back. April 14th on Spectrum News, the chairman said, if you have a question for your legislator, I'd advise reaching out. Every legislator remains open and available for this kind of thing. That's proven false by those who did not respond. He also said, meetings are far from the only place the county reps can hear dissent. Dissent is expressing opinions. We not only share opinions, we state facts and can prove it when given the chance. Government, you, are meant to provide a role in fostering a good moral environment. Remember your offices, where people live good, honorable lives. Remember your offices and powers exist to secure our freedoms and help regulate rules and laws to help benefit our county. You are sitting here because you stand for something you believe in, or to help make a difference in some way. It's hard to think everyone is bad. Most people have that spark of goodness. I've witnessed those sparks in here from time to time. In fact, you had a Student Government Day in May 2019. It was noticed the love and pride you had for those children as they sat with you that day. All children need help, learning, growing, and being protected. Every child matters. As you help those who have opportunities for great things, we are asking you to help other kids who need better opportunities, like being able to live in a safe environment. It's been said the hardest thing is to get us all to see through someone else's eyes. Are you willing to try? Do you have eyes to see and ears to hear? Kids at home or school have the right to be safe from school shootings, abusive parents and guardians, and law-breaking caseworkers. Children of this county deserve and are worthy of protection. First Amendment, speak freely, make use of the press, gather with others, petition the government to redress grievances. Redress grievances is our right to make a complaint or seek assistance without fear of punishment or retaliation. Families deserve to use their freedom of speech without fear of retaliation. Most are terrified to come forward. They underestimate their worth and their strength. Those who abuse their power cause them to feel helpless. Those caseworkers use their power to benefit themselves, not the families they're to be helping. The whole department, not just Child Protective Services. Could we have boundary lines exist without becoming battle lines? While we have boundary lines, the department is bent on battle lines. We are still fighting to protect our boundaries. It's not about winning a case. It should be about what's right for those children and their families. Fostering a moral environment, you can lead by example, have integrity, and give consequences to those who need it. Any worker who breaks laws or takes away our rights need held accountable, including those who put little effort into their job, which resulted in neglecting, abuse, and death, no matter what position they hold. Police, judges, government officials who govern us, we hold to a high standard by having those who commit offenses to deal with the consequences of their actions or lack thereof, and putting your best effort into your duties. Holding those accountable sets an example to others that this is what happens when you break the laws or negligent in serious matters. It shows you don't tolerate crime and that you want what's best for this county. Being held accountable also lessens the amount of misdeeds happening. Your job is to consider and do what's best in the in the best interest for the county. Declaration of Independence states, "The government derives its just powers from the consent of the governed. Here the governed are citizens of Oswego County. We don't consent to risking children's safety. We don't consent to caseworkers or anyone else who abuse their power. We do consent to those holding a government position to take accountability for overlooking the seriousness of some cases, which is resulting in the public fiasco of the department. Reminder, no one is above the law and no one is below it. We don't consent to CPS taking all the blame. Caseworkers need more pay, and I've explained why last time. All the legislators were hired by the public to represent them to the best of their abilities. Caseworkers are the public. They vote and pay taxes. They depend on you. What do we need to do to help you see through our eyes better? Help see what's beneficial for the safety and well-being of others. How much more do the caseworkers need to show on how much of your help they really need?" All right. Okay.
It's our new addition, the 5-minute meeting. Thank you. At this time, I would call Stephanie Stone for comments unrelated to the resolution.
I like to be
Well, we're trying to keep it fair.
Yep.
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, it's been 3 months since Jordan Brooks' death and CPS's involvement in it had been made known to the public. Per the resolution that was adopted on April 1st, I understand that Attorney Eisman's investigation will not start until the criminal proceedings are complete, and at which time he'll have 90 days to submit a report. It also stated that the Benedio Group investigation was going to start immediately. However, there was no time frame given in this resolution. I printed it, I read it a few times. I'm not sure when this report is due to be given to the legislators. I would really like to know what the time frame is on this, just out of curiosity. Since it's been said that the investigations will be transparent, I'm assuming that the report will be made public as soon as available, unlike the report that the state did, which was forwarded in November of last year to the commissioner, chairman, and the county administrator, and we, the public, didn't know about this until March. In April, the chairman invited the Attorney General's office to conduct their own investigation, and since this time, we have not heard anything more on that. I'm assuming they didn't feel that it was justified. 2 Oswego County children have died, and it is fact that CPS failed these children. A 3rd child, Galaxy Cruz, is still a mystery. To all of us because the case investigation has gone silent. What we do know is that CPS was also involved in this case and was called to that home 7 times for reported child abuse. CPS did nothing. If this isn't justification for the Attorney General's office opening an investigation on CPS, I'm not sure what would be. I'm asking the legislator to reach out to the governor and have her request an investigation be opened before any more children in our community die at the hands of CPS. I'm not confident that the current investigations are going to be of any use in getting justice for Jordan when it comes to the CPS involvement. Commissioner Elbert had admitted that the county did indeed neglect Jordan in her statement of March 24th, where she said the department takes full responsibility for not verifying and assuring medical needs were met. This alone should be enough to take action against her and the caseworkers who failed this young man. If a statement like this was made by a parent, you can guarantee that parent would have been found guilty of neglect, and due to the severity, the child undoubtedly would have been removed from the home. What makes CPS any different? Their mission statement states, among other things, that they are there to assure safety, and obviously they failed, per the commissioner's own words. Innocent until proven guilty? The commissioner has admitted
that they are guilty. And I'm not sure why we have to continue to wait to take action against them. If we need to wait until the conclusion of the prosecution of the Waldrons, this case can go on for months or years until CPS is held accountable, during which time they will continue to be a danger in our community, and this is unfair to our children. Based on the Commissioner's admission of guilt through her own words, the legislator must move forward in removing her and the caseworkers who were involved. Commissioner Albert has been quoted as saying they will do better going forward. This statement haunts me every day. Shouldn't they have always tried to do better for our children? The Commissioner states that they have shifted to deploying a caseworker from its multidisciplinary team for reports on disabled and medically frail children, and will also work with visiting nursing services to evaluate these children and make the necessary connections with other health providers to assure that all health needs are met. Shouldn't they have been doing this right along? I'm certain that Jordan Brooks has not been the first child in Oswego County with a disability or medical issues that CPS has ever dealt with. It scares me to think how those cases were handled and the neglect those children have been through and possibly continue to go through because CPS didn't adequately evaluate them as they were not doing their best. I urge all of you to take action against CPS sooner than later, as none of you in this room are exempt from them entering your life and making bad decisions for you and your family. Put yourself in the shoes of everyone who has had to deal with this agency, and wouldn't you want immediate justice for your family? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Would Patty Famelo come forward? You have 5 minutes to speak on comments unrelated to the resolutions of the day. Thank you.
Good afternoon, I'm Patty Famela from the town of Oswego, and I wanted to follow up with you all regarding my comments during the June legislative meeting on the topic of gun violence. You may remember that Legislator Castillo tried at the last meeting to make a motion to create a task force to study school safety, and he was shut down in a rather accusatory manner. Subsequently, I attended the July 5th Public Safety Committee meeting where there was discussion about a task force, and it came to light that such a task force had already been created some time ago, but they had not met since 2017. So perhaps there is some hope that Legislator Castillo's efforts will result in some eventual discussion related to school safety. Chairman Weatherup indicated that he would reconvene the task force. Now, did you say here today that that's going to happen after this meeting?
3:30 this afternoon.
Is that a public meeting?
Yes.
Because it's not on your calendar, on the website.
Okay.
So the public doesn't know about it. So anyways, that's a move in the right direction. So I'm happy to hear that. So I had emailed all of you about my concern. This was why I spoke last time, and I had only heard back from one legislator. So I'm here again to ask you all again to work harder on this issue. Can you share your views, your ideas, your solutions? Because in my opinion, silence is not helpful. The issue of gun violence demands urgency. Have you watched the videos coming out of the Robb Elementary School in Uvalde? Did you see how the police officers were absolutely paralyzed? I feel like we are paralyzed here in Oswego County. Is gun violence an issue just too big to solve? Have you all given up? Does it barely warrant a mention on the floor of this legislature? I think it does. I think we have to talk about it, and we have to talk about it loudly. We could be partnering with organizations such as the James Brady Center to Prevent Gun Violence, the Gabby Gifford Foundation, the American Public Health Association, Everytown, and the list goes on.
We need to do more. We need to do more mental health and suicide prevention services. We need gun safety education. We need to learn how to identify red flags. Why not use the American Rescue Plan money to spearhead some gun violence prevention initiatives? I would like to thank law enforcement personnel who were responsible on Monday, I think it was, for the arrest of 3 individuals who were charged with criminal possession of a ghost gun, an altered 16-gauge shotgun, and other illegal weapons. I cannot imagine going to work every day as a law enforcement official knowing that there are more than 393 million guns in this country. No wonder the police in Uvalde were paralyzed. I will leave you with a quote from Mr. Reyes. He is the teacher from Uvalde who barely survived the mass shooting. And in a recent televised interview, he said, "It all happened too fast. Training, no training, all kinds of training. Nothing gets you ready for this. You can give us all the training you want. Gun laws have to change. Please consider raising your voices as leaders in this community to make that happen." Thank you.
Thank you. I would note that there was a media response sent out to notify the media that there was a meeting at 3:30. It might not have made the website, but it did go out.
So it was in a paper somewhere?
Well, it went to all the media groups, whatever, television, print media, whatever.
Well, I didn't see it.
I haven't
But
got
I'm
an email
glad-
on that.
But I'm glad that, well, I'm emailing the email that is on the Oswego County website. So if there's a problem with that
I haven't received it.
and other people haven't received it, then maybe we need to check
Well,
that out.
probably I want you to know that I haven't received it.
Well, thank you for that, and I'll try you again, but if the email isn't correct, I don't know what I can do.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak on public comments on unrelated resolutions? Thank you again for coming.